In the news this week, the government's $300,000 funding boost to support affordable housing, low-cost food and a women's hub ahead of the election, a WAME News exclusive.
More than 50,000 guns have been surrendered to police as the final results of the government's firearm buyback scheme are revealed. And the Chinese Lunar New Year kicked off in style, with Northbridge streets filled with festive celebrations. And later, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loom and Maliva Thorne.
Good evening. With the election well underway, the cost of living and emergency family relief are at the forefront of the campaign. Coincidentally, the government has announced an additional $300,000 in funding for the Multicultural Services Centre WA to expand its community services. Minister Tony Booty and Labor MP Meredith Hammett made the announcement this week, with the funds allocated for refurbishing the Mirrabooka Centre to improve housing, settlement services and emergency relief for families. The funding also includes the establishment of a new women's shed and hub in Cannington. Last week, the government also provided funding for MSCWA's Morley Centre to develop a low-cost food cafeteria for vulnerable people. When asked about receiving the funding from the Cowed Community Capital Works Fund 2025 during the election season, the organisation's Deputy CEO, Piers Joseph, stated that it's important for politicians to understand the challenges people face, particularly with the current high cost of housing and food.
No, it is important that the politicians understand how hard it is for people these days with the cost of housing, the cost of food, the cost of all other items. It is going very high, and it is good that the positive gesture from the government. Yeah, these days it is very hard, especially for people who are at entry-level job or people who are on a Centrelink benefit. They are really struggling to bring food to the table. So we provide reduced cost to be provide food from that place, including prepared food. Yeah, and we use our emergency relief program, which is funded by the Lottery West, that help people a lot. We use other forms of assisting people.
Now here's a summary of this week's election campaign. Labor has focused on major housing announcement in Midland City Centre, with plans of more than 5,000 new homes. The government also highlighted the success of the firearm buyback scheme, with more than 52,000 guns handed back to WA Police so far. The Liberals, on the other hand, focuses on targeted cost of living relief, with promises to extend the kids' sport and silver sport programs, providing funding for toy libraries in South Perth, and this weekend, a pledge to introduce a payroll tax rebate for small and medium businesses if elected.
The Chinese Lunar New Year celebration has hit the streets of Perth today, with lion dances, food venues, firecrackers, lanterns and performances right across Northbridge. For more than a decade, the Chung Wire Association has presented the festival in February to celebrate the occasion with all Western Australians. The association's secretary, Jenny Chong, joins us earlier today. Hi Jenny, Gong Xi Fa Chai. This year is the year of the snake and the festival appears to be more popular than ever. It must be very important in the community.
Well, this is the 14th year that the Chung Wire Association has brought this event to the city of Perth. And you can see we're here in Yagan Square with the ever popular wishing wall. It's popular for people all over the world to celebrate New Year in different cultures. And this is our way of giving back to the community.
There are lots of family-friendly activities at the festival. Which one is your favourite and why?
In the festival, the all-popular favourite would have to be the lion dancing. Everyone comes to see the lion dancing. I'll call it the special food that we have. Yeah, this year we put a snake around the Premier's shoulder. No intended meaning, just to celebrate the year of the snake, a year for transformation.
And you can head down to James Street in Northbridge to see the multicultural performances going all the way till 9 o'clock tonight. Jenny, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Western Australia's firearm buyback program has resulted in the surrender of nearly 52,000 firearms. marking one of the most significant firearm reductions in the country since the 1997 National Firearms Agreement. The initiative, led by the Cook Labor government, is part of a broader reform to the state's firearm laws aimed at enhancing public safety. According to WA Police, a total of 51,988 firearms have been handed in, including 2,051 handguns, 2,325 shotguns, and 7,251 rifles. The latest phase of the buyback, which targeted licensed firearm dealers, follows two earlier stages of the multi-million-dollar voluntary program. The new firearm laws will be introduced in stages, starting from March 31. Under the transition plan, all existing firearm license holders will receive a temporary transition authority, granting them at least 90 days to comply with the new requirement. License holders whose permit expires before June 30th will have 90 days from the expiry date to meet the updated conditions. From July 1, all existing licenses will receive 90-day notices before transitioning.
WA Police have released a review of their own response to Rowena and Ariel Bombara as they escaped domestic violence and the subsequent shooting of Jennifer and Gretel Patelsic by Rowena's husband and Ariel's father, Mark Bombara. On Friday the 24th of May 2024, Mark Bombara shot the two women in Floreat before shooting himself. The review looked into allegations of the failure of police officers to prevent the deaths of Rowena's best friend Jennifer and her daughter Gretel.
8 officers have been disciplined. The level of the discipline is unknown at this stage, and I'll leave that to the operation of the Commissioner for Police. What I will say in conclusion is that it was a shocking incident, but domestic violence is a scourge on our community. It is the most insidious act that you can imagine. Domestic violence has increased by almost 50% over the last 5 years. It is unacceptable.
2 people have been charged after a stolen Audi Q7 led police on a wild chase through Inglewood. The pursuit began around 8 a.m. on January 28th, when the vehicle failed to stop, tearing through multiple suburbs before halted an hour later on 7th Avenue. Rapid Apprehension Squad detectives arrested both occupants, who are facing a string of charges, including stealing, driving and drug offences. Authorities say the woman appeared earlier this week in court, while the alleged driver will appear at a later date. WA Police are investigating into an arson case after an American-style grocery store was torched. The blaze occurred at 3:40 a.m. on the 28th of January. DFAS firefighters and police were dispatched to an American-style grocery store inside Barrajoora City Shopping Centre. The fire has damaged both interior and front of the store. Following a scene investigation, arson squad detectives concluded the fire was deliberately lit. Currently, 2 people are wanted over the case. Anyone with information regarding to this incident is urged to call Crime Stoppers.
And now, here is Dr. Andrew Miller with his first weekly medical and news commentary for 2025.
Hi, thanks for your time and Happy New Year. Just wanted to say a few words to address the attacks that are happening against diversity, equity and inclusion programs, primarily as a result of the elevation of President Donald Trump back to the White House, but also here in Australia, where we see people echoing the lie that diversity in the workplace and initiatives to improve it are based on the lowering of standards, when in fact the opposite is true. In a recent study, we've seen over 5 million operations analysed through a meta-analysis, 58 studies included, and they found that female surgeons in fact have a lower mortality rate and a similar rate of other complications to male surgeons. So they're similar in most regards, with a slightly better mortality rate. And what this does say is not that you should choose a female surgeon every time. There's a lot of very good male ones, but it's saying that the women can cut with the best of them, and that there is no basis to support on merit the previous situation where pretty much every surgeon was a male. And that is kind of interesting, that there are still some specialties in surgery where over 90% of the surgeons are male. There's no basis in that for competence. It's a tradition thing, it's a privilege thing, and it really needs to be improved, because we know that there can be better outcomes when you have true representation of the population in these important and not coincidentally very highly paid jobs. What we're seeing with the appointment of people to the Cabinet, particularly with the promotion of someone like Robert Kennedy Jr. Into the health portfolio, or the Senate hearings of course are ongoing at the moment, is not the selection of someone from a wide field of people based on competence, but it's in fact mates tapping loyal people on the shoulder and seeking loyalty in return if they're appointed to a position. And that is the exact opposite of what a DEI program is all about, which is about removing the gender, removing the ethnicity, removing the sexuality, removing any other factors, and just saying, is this person adequately trained? Will they do a good job? And if so, they should get it no matter what their background and their personal identities are. So just wanted to give a little bit of an example from the world of medicine to say that everyone's welcome, and all that really matters is what are the outcomes for the patients. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And now, here's what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thanks guys, the top stories we're following on 6 News. 6 people on board a medical transport plane killed when it crashed into a residential area in Philadelphia, days after a mid-air collision near Washington DC. 3 Israeli hostages released by Hamas, while dozens of Palestinian prisoners are freed in the latest stage of an ongoing ceasefire in Gaza. And less than 1 week to go until 2 Victorian state by-elections, as the Greens and Labor both fight to hold on to key seats in Melbourne. You can watch live 24/7 on the 6 News YouTube channel. For now though guys, it's back to you.
Thank you very much. Now, happy Chinese Lunar New Year, everyone. And Gong Xi Fa Chai, Ivan, what's it all about?
It's about quite a few things, I suppose. Let me boil down to simple points. First, of course, family gathering together. Have you ever received wrap packets in your life yet?
I wish.
You wish. So it's the inside spill of money, by the way. But for Westerners, they always just put chocolates in there. But obviously, it is a sign of blessing, and Gong Xi Fa Chai basically means, congratulations for your prosperity. And of course, this year is my year, because it's the year of the snake. Now, we're just going to, before we slither our way out of here, you've definitely went to the Lunar New Year Fair. Have you enjoyed it yourself?
What a wonderful day. Everyone's celebrating, great food, great people. I can't think of a better way to kick off the new year. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnews.com.au.
Remember to support and subscribe to WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnews.com.au/news/extra. From Melly Page, myself, wish you good health, good night. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.